I drank a whole bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gave him a whole bottle, and I said, I want to drink this whole bottle tonight.
It's clean.
At least for us, we have a very clean vodka, and we've seen the effects of no hangovers the next day.
Hey team, Jim Cripps here with the Charge Forward podcast, and I gotta tell you, I have a special treat for you today. You've heard me say that before, but I am so excited to bring to you two gentlemen that worked with me for a number of years and are doing crazy awesome things just out in the entrepreneurial space and really kind of changing a liquor kind of idea. And it started here in Nashville. So in the studio with me today, Clarence Darkwa. He is the founder and CEO of Fiyori Vodka. And Johnnie Robinson, who, man, he put up with me for a decade. Johnnie is the VP of branding and sales at Fiyori Vodka. Guys, welcome.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I'm just going to go throw this out there just right out of the gate. Clarence, I believe you were the first hemp-infused vodka to hit the market.
I was the first in Tennessee.
Okay.
So I always like to give credit when credit's due. The product has kind of been out there, not in a big way, but when there was a whole CBD craze, I think a lot of companies tried their hand in creating products made with hemp, right? Hemp seeds and things like that. So I believe I'm the best out there. I can guarantee that I'm probably the best out there. But I do want to give credit to those that have been out there. That was a company in California when I was doing my research. Even the person the distillery that I actually started with had kind of created a formula initially for that product. So, but like I said, we've tried to be the best, and we believe that we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, how long has this been going on?
So the process really started December 2019.
Okay.
So a friend of mine, Jason Rigel, owns a company called Guidance Whiskey here in Nashville. And he literally walked up to me and said, I'm going to put you in the liquor business. Now, prior to that, I was doing crazy entrepreneurial stuff. I had created a shisha, which is for hookahs. I didn't like hookah, but I had created a shisha because shisha is normally made with tobacco. And I decided to become a mad scientist in my kitchen and created a shisha with hemp flower instead of tobacco, because I understand the bad things with tobacco. I'm not a tobacco fan at all. I've never smoked in my life.
Predominantly due to the chemicals that they're putting on the plant.
Definitely. And just tobacco overall. I mean, there's quality tobacco, but overall, when you look at tobacco, in a sense, it's not a good product.
Well, the crazy thing in my world is, like, if you look at the health benefits of nicotine itself, there are plenty of things that nicotine can actually help with. But it's all the garbage that goes along with it that causes cancer and is so harmful for you.
Definitely. And really a lot of it came off of just watching people do it. You know, you flavor something and you have a lot of people smoking and do not know what they're smoking, right? Especially in the hookah world, right? Which is something that originated in the Middle East, Eastern Africa type of thing. So I just became a mad scientist. I bought a bunch of hemp flower and I started making shisha out of my kitchen. Shout out to my daughter. She had to watch all that happen. It looked like I was growing weed in the house or something like that. But and then in 2019, at a party, December 31st, Jason, I had thrown a couple of events with the shisha, and we used Guidance Whiskey for it. So I developed a relationship with Jason, and he basically walked up to me and said, I'll put you in the liquor business. And that was it. Walked away. So January came around. I'm kind of anxious, like, what is he talking about? And I had no idea about liquor. I drink socially, but I don't really pay attention to it. And we went to his office. He called me one day, went to his office, and he made a call to a distillery. And obviously, me being in the hemp industry, the distiller had already kind of created a hemp vodka type of product, and kind of just started from there. So that one call, literally, I went back to the house, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we had some scooter rental company called Dash Scooters, got destroyed in the tornado that we had March 3rd of 2020. I had a party bus company. So you can see I was an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, pretty much having a bunch of companies that got shut down during COVID. So I literally had nothing else to do. So this idea kind of came in to pay attention to the industry, because I was watching the news one day and it said the two most important businesses are hospitals and liquor stores when COVID happened, right? People were either getting sick or they're going to the liquor store to buy a drink.
And how many people go to the liquor store and then end up in the hospital?
Well, correlation. So if you look at this liquor sales industry, it became, it was high sales around 2020. So I used to go sit at a liquor store and just watch how people interacted with liquor. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple of things that I picked up, like, what type of bottles were sitting on the top shelf, which spirit do most people go to, how quickly somebody spends time at a liquor store, an average about a minute and a half. They go grab what they know and they walk away. A whiskey drinker sometimes pays attention because they're paying attention to the different type of whiskeys. Mm-hmm. Vodka drinkers likely Tito's and walks away. You know what I'm saying? And I just started studying. I had nothing else to do. I started studying, and by the end of 2020, through R&D, we created Fiyori Vodka. Now, the name Fiyori came from a friend of mine, Ida, who's from Eritrea, Eastern Africa, and we were looking for a name that would be ideal, but just not a simple name. And she said, "Well, what about Fiyori?" which means flower in their language as well. And they also have some good positive meanings in their culture. So, and I'm big on names. Names matter. So that's how we ended up coming up with Fiyori Vodka. And so it's been a process. It's definitely been a process. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we've talked several times kind of throughout this. Johnny, how did you get thrown into the mix?
Crazy enough. So, back in the day, I hired Clarence when we all worked together at Sprint, and, we really created a bond and a friendship after that. And so, he would just hit me up randomly, like, dude, like, hey, I'm about to launch in the Virgin Islands, or, I'm switching, distribution through Atlanta, or whatever the case may be. And so he'll just hit me up and we'll just talk. And we're talking. I'll give him some ideas, this and that, like, hey, this is what I think we should do. This is that. It's just, a friendship, he's picking my brain. We're going over stuff. And from there, and it's like, this is multiple years of him. Let's just going back every couple months. We may talk, just workshops and stuff. I remember, like, towards the end of 2023, he calls me. He was like, man, listen, I got some challenges. This is what I'm working through. And I'm about to start giving him some advice like I normally do. And he literally stops me dead in my tracks. And he's like, don't say anything else. Just, can you come on board? Mm-hmm. Can you be a part of this? And I was like, I wasn't expecting this. Right. And so from there, I was like, you know what? Let me think about this for sure. I just started a new thing down in downtown Nashville. I was signing on as a director. And I was like, you know what? Let me see how I can make this work, right? I'm about to start this new thing at a marketing and sales organization. How can I fit the time in to really, give Fiyori the attention that it needed? And so I said, you know what? Let me come up with some strategies for us. Let me write some stuff on paper. Let's come up with a go-to-market strategies. Let's figure out the finances. Let's do all of this. And from there, 6 months later, I stopped working at that company, and it was like that was a blessing in disguise, right? Because for there, I was able to truly dive into how we can take this thing to the next level, right? So from that first call till then was just like, putting stuff on paper. I was trying to figure this out. How can we rewrite what's already been done and then grow it from there? So it got a little bit deeper because at first, I said, sure, I'm going to help. I'm going to put whatever time in. After work on the weekends, I'll figure out how we can get this thing done. But once I transitioned from the organization, it was like, okay, how can I make Fiyori my full-time thing? Yeah. And honestly, it was like I went to the wife. It was a little bit of prayer because Clarence on that call, he was like, listen, man, I want you to be a part of this, but I can't pay you right now. Yeah. He was like, I want to see how we can grow this thing. And so I was like, well, first I need to truly learn about the liquor industry. Like, I'm giving you advice on how to do sales and operation and all of this, but I need to dive in and figure this thing out. But, thinking about how I can, not have any income for a while, pray about it, talk it over with the wife. We were pregnant with our our third child at that time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, how can we make this work to where I could come on board, be full time with this? And so I get back to him like, hey man, I prayed about it, talked with the wife, she approved. Let's figure this thing out. And so from there, 6 to 8 months of just grinding and grinding. And we really were able to bring this thing to where we're at now, to where, slowly becoming a household name, and finally can say we actually have, monthly income coming in.
That's good.
And, that's kind of how it started, right? Because again, it went from a friendship to now business partners, and it's been great ever since.
That's awesome. So what makes it different? What sets Fiyori Vodka apart from everybody else?
Well, one of the things is the hemp seeds, right? So I obviously being in the hemp industry with my other product that I had, which I still have, I just haven't really focused on as much as I focused on the vodka. I understood the health benefits of hemp seed, right? So it was kind of one of those experiments. We eventually moved the distillery, moved from a different, from the original distillery we had to a different company, and we really went in deep on the R&D part of it. So how much can we add on there that kind of affects the product? Learning about TTB laws, and there was a lot. It took me about 6 months to get reapproved for it, owning the formula and everything like that. But hemp seeds, I just understood the benefits of it, right? So I use hemp seeds every morning for my smoothies, hemp seeds and chia seeds. And then also the process of how we do it. So the filtration process, how we proof it down with reverse osmosis water, the health benefits of reverse osmosis water, cleaning out the metals that are in the water. So you're getting the purest form of water to proof it down, and then we run it through another filter to clean it up a little bit more. So you probably getting the most cleanest vodka in the market. I don't want to say the most cleanest vodka out there. There probably some more and that's clean. At least for us, we have a very clean vodka. And we've seen the effects of no hangovers the next day. The fact that you can drink something that doesn't overpower you. You're not drunk. You're not, it's pretty much a clean product. And so that's what I think sets it apart from your normal vodka. When you smell it, initially when we're doing a tasting, the first thing people do is smell it. And you can't smell the overpowering ethanol. Vodka is kind of like ethanol anyway. So you don't smell the overpowering of the ethanol. And it's just a great product that you could use in cocktails. You don't taste it in your cocktails. But, for me, I've tried this before, so I was speaking on it. I drank a whole bottle. Yep. I went when we were launching in Georgia. I did a launch party at a friend of mine's restaurant, and I gave him a whole bottle, and I said, I want to drink this whole bottle tonight. And just keep making me cocktails that does not include sugar, because I'm, a lot of people add drinks like sugary type of drinks on it that affects you a little bit, but literally drank the whole bottle. Now, I guarantee you, I was not myself, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's alcohol still. But what was very unique is I woke up around the next day, around 8 o'clock the next morning, and I was fine. I was good. I was good to go. I was able to function. I was able to do everything I was supposed to do, which is different from when I normally have other cocktails or other spirits and stuff like that. I wake up and like 2 or 3 drinks in, I wake up and I feel like crap. Yeah. So something that I've tried out, and it's just different. It's just, I think if you look in the market right now, we're the only ones in every market that we are in. We are probably the only ones that have a hemp seed product on there. So that's pretty much what sets it apart. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I notice is it's much smoother. To me, vodka, and I'm not a vodka drinker, just by and large. Yeah. But it's got that bite, that burn to the back of your throat. And this does not have that.
Yep. A lot of it is, again, the process, So we started the process over in Mount Prospect, Illinois, right outside of Chicago, with a company called Two Eagles. So that's the one I did the R&D with. And we went deep. The person that actually helped with it was a person that created Fireball, I think, helped create Fireball. So we went deep in what we wanted, and then we finished the process here at Flight Whiskey, Flight Spirits, actually, over in Hendersonville. And so throughout the process, we, it's a lot of paying attention to it. So, like I said, we use very clean. We have a whole filtration system that we use the reverse osmosis water to proof it down, and then after you proof it down to 80 proof, you go through another filtration system before it gets bottled and stuff like that. So I wanted a product that if you're not a vodka drinker, you're willing to try. Yeah. Because, most people, they turn up their face. Or I remember I was doing the tasting one time, and the lady was expecting to have an exorcism. You know how you drink vodka, you're shaking and stuff like that. And she drank it, and she was like, oh, and that I knew I had something when what they're expecting is not what they get. So that was very important to me.
Yeah, and I think he's not highlighting all the true details on why this vodka is so great, right? Yes, for sure. The reverse osmosis water helps make it pure in that 5-time distillation process. The hemp seeds also makes it just a nuance with a flavor palette that you just don't get in a vodka, right? Yeah. And again, our clientele will tell you 100% that they like it over top tier brands like Tito's and some of the other brands that are out there. And it's because of those two combinations of the 5 times distilled with the reverse osmosis and then the hemp seeds. There's a lot of people now trying to get into the industry and make a hemp vodka, right? But they're not infusing it to the level in the process of what we're doing it. And that's truly what's setting it apart. It doesn't taste like you're drinking like something with CBD oil or something like that, right? Because there's a true infusion that's happening and it gives it a nice flavor palette on the back end, right? And so again, going back to the smoothness, but also there was a lot of research and development that went into it. I mean, this isn't the first product. Like when Clarence first started this, he went through multiple iterations that were actually selling on the shelves, right? Those products, they got some awards, but when he went back into R&D and he was like, no, I want these to win gold. Like I want it to be a household name to where it tastes better than anything else on the market. The first product didn't have that. And so, and to be honest, like it was good, but it wasn't great. Right. And for me to come on board, honestly, that was one of the first things I was like, dude, it'd be hard to sell just an okay product, but it's easy to sell a great product. Yeah. And so when, it's like a staple in my house and several other people that we know is because it's just a really good product and going through all of that. So again, like the product that he has now, I think he truly understood that it was great when you start winning awards like 97 points on taste and flavor. Yeah. Right. Something like that. Like that's not us saying it's good. That's the award show saying it's good. That's right. When you're winning gold at several of the award shows, right? That's what set it apart. And then you see all these other people who have, something like a hemp product. And they're not even winning those gold standards and high level of praise from the award show. So again, I think it goes back to the testament and the hard work that he was putting in to make sure that he had a quality product. And again, the community, like, all of Nashville is starting to tout that. No, this is probably the best vodka, definitely in Tennessee for sure. That's locally made.
That's great. Now, so your actual distilling operation is here in Middle Tennessee too?
Yes. So a good friend of mine, Mike Durrick, and his partner Price, we started off in 2,000 square foot building. They just moved it to Hendersonville, an 18,000 square foot building. They have other products that they bottle as well and distill. So we're growing with them as they're growing as well. Yeah. So he has a couple of products himself. We have some products on the team that is from Washington. Shout out to Con Artist. We have who else am I missing? Generic. Yep. Who else? Crispy Cool.
Oh yeah, Crispy Cool. They're doing their big things up. I think is it Wyoming or
no, they're in Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're RTD doing big stuff.
Barry with Whiz Tea. Yeah, that's pretty good. Am I missing anybody else? Chief out of Memphis. So we have a community pretty much that we share. We get on a call probably once or twice a month and just share information, So in this industry, it's very tough. You go to a liquor store, you have options, right? You have thousands, close about 1,000 options in a liquor store, liquor store. So our goal is to see what stands out, like, to make something that stands out when a customer goes in there that I've tried that, I like that, that's what I'm going to buy. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was talking to one of the managers at Total Wines a couple of days ago. And Saturday I had done a Total Wine tasting. I sold 12 bottles in 2.5 hours. And I was talking to her and she was like, somebody walked into the store and was like, this is the best vodka I've ever had. And grabbed it and sold it. And bought it pretty much. And that's what we're looking for. We're trying to build a customer base that when we're not there selling it, that's what they want. And, once you get that customer, once we get that customer that is loving it, you got a customer for life.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the big things that maybe not everybody realizes is, yes, the product's got to be good, but also the packaging has to be fantastic.
Oh, yes.
So if you will, walk us through the process on the bottle and show us the bottle.
Yes, definitely. So a lot of process went into this bottle. This is probably the fourth version.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the fourth version of the bottle. We get better. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
You get better. Now, the idea of the design really came from, how back in the day, I think people still do it today, when you went to somebody's house and they had liquor, Grey Goose, Belvedere, they're always, like, even if it's empty, it's still sitting on the shelf because people pay attention to the design. You can have a great product, but what attracts people to it? Let me see the design. So I took a lot of time and a lot of money to figure out the design. And obviously, with it being named Fiyori, meaning flower, hence you got the flower design and everything like that. But I wanted to attract people. I wanted people to see it and say, it catches your eye. And that was a lot of it from the research of being in the liquor stores and just sitting there and watching people interact, So you realize that the bottles that look generic tend to stay that way. You stay on the shelf. The ones that look nice, even if they weren't buying it, they would spend at least 5 to 10 seconds looking at it. Mm-hmm. And once they attracted to it, they would start reading about it. And then once they start reading about it, your hope is that they would try it. And once they try it, you got a customer for life. Yeah. So.
All right, so team, we're going to do something that we have never done before. We are swapping the bowling pin out for the product.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
All right, I think that looks pretty good there.
Yep.
Well, again, I think one of the things that, while we worked together so well for so many years, is we get the fact that, you got to do the right things, but you also have to have a great product that you can stand behind. Mm-hmm. And you got to feel good at the end of the day. You got to be able to tell your kids that you went and you did something, you stood on your word. And so I'm not surprised that you've created a great brand and a great product. Nor am I surprised that Johnny's working with you now and that you guys are probably two of the best networkers that I've ever come across. Definitely. I mean, the number of places that I've been that they know you is just staggering. And then especially when I go somewhere with Johnny knows everybody.
Yep.
So I think it was just meant to be. Definitely. You just had to get to a certain spot where it was like, okay, now it makes sense. And then y'all got it there together. What has been one of the things that, and this could have been in the beginning or more recent, that you're almost shocked by that was a challenge you had?
In regards to?
Just the business.
Well, first of all, to kind of piggyback on what you just said before the question, one thing that I learned when we were in Absolute Wireless together is Johnny was great in analytics, right? Spent time in the office. He's breaking down numbers. If I had any challenges with sales, he would tell me, well, do this, do that, right? I was good at building relationships. I had the great relationships with a lot of our managers and things like that, some of our salespeople. So I could talk to people, talk them off the ledge here. Pretty much if sales, we're not selling anything like that. Weirdly, Sean Bolden from Franklin just called me the other day. Mm-hmm. So I still have great relationships with people when we worked and stuff like that. So I think the partnership of that really helped. And that's why I was able to call him and just piggyback off the ideas from him. But now going back to your question as far as the challenges, a lot of the challenges is because a lot of the brands that you see are either celebrity driven or, there's a lot of money thrown into it. Mm-hmm. You have, brands that are spending millions on products, right? And so when you got little old us coming in, self-funded, trying to push a product, it is hard when you're battling against bigger brands, right? We all know Tito's, right? Tito's is been around for God knows how long. What I draw my inspiration from is just studying who you're going against. And one of the things that I learned with Tito's, before Tito's became a big brand, even Casamigos or anything like that, they were around for like 10 years, mm-hmm. right? I remember talking to my distributor over in Georgia, Savannah, and Eric was telling me about how he was at a trade show the first time they got to Tito's. He was at a trade show and the owner of Tito's was walking around with Tito's in a brown paper bag, trying to find somebody to talk to them. now people can't wait to talk to them, So I draw my inspiration from that. It's not a quick get rich quick scheme for me. It's something I truly believe in. We put some years in it. We had a long time to go, but those are the challenges of dealing with when I walk into a store. You see somebody that's so used to Tito's, they're going to go buy it, or so used to Belvedere, that's what they're going to buy. So I think what has been helpful for us is doing a lot of the tastings, being right in front of that customer. So, like I told you, I sold 12 bottles of Total Wines last Saturday. I have 12 people now that have going to try my product. Even if I get 5 people to come back and buy it, that's a win right there.
Yeah.
And so those are the little things. So I think just laying the foundation of the product is very important. And that for me, that's been the challenge. What about you, Johnny?
Man, so I'll go back to some of the challenges that you used to call me with before I truly came on board. And it was just like, wow, like how do you get past some of this stuff, right? Again, going back to whether it's the finances, right? You're a self-funded startup. You're bootstrapping this from the ground up. How do you compete with other brands? How do you bring more SKUs on board? How do you get people as brand ambassadors to help push your product, right? You have to be out here going to trade shows, being in front of, retail locations, and also, going to them to see if they can pitch. And he's like, dude, how do I do all of this at once? Well, all right, let's get the finances together first, right? Let's figure out how we can make some money and you have a great product. So how can we, work on the finances? Then from there, like, how do you mix, personal and business? That's huge as an entrepreneur, right?
Oh yeah.
For me, having 3 little ones now under 5, with, Grayson, my oldest, having a
no longer under 5.
Yeah,
as of today.
Yes, he is officially today. Happy birthday, Grayson.
All right, in unison. Happy birthday, Grayson.
Happy birthday, Grayson.
That's good.
So, trying to balance that personal and, business is also, it's a struggle, right? So, trying to figure out, hey, I'm up till midnight every single night, whether it's creating content or, writing a strategic plan for the week or whatever the case may be. But then, going to how are we going to be the household name and getting, the product at every single retail location throughout Nashville and Tennessee. And then, we have distribution in Georgia. We have distribution in the Virgin Islands. Like, how are you pushing that and having those go-to-market strategies that can truly make sure people are coming back to buy? There's just so many different challenges. And then for me, I was bringing a level of sales and operations that didn't 100% apply to the liquor industry, which is completely different, right? And so I'm talking to Clarence, and he's like, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm like, okay, that's another hiccup. That's another challenge there. He's like, we got to do this. We got to do that. So what I did was I put myself in a position to learn everything that I possibly could about the liquor industry, right? So I partnered up with Pronghorn. They're an arm of Diageo. Just about everybody knows who Diageo is. They're the largest liquor conglomerate out there, right? Or at least one of the top 3 for sure. And they have what you call a spirits prep program. And in that program, they help prepare you to transition into the industry. And so luckily, as soon as I was coming on board with Clarence, they were doing that program. I got a chance to get a part of that program. And so in that program, we're talking to, high-level executives and CEOs of some top-tier brands, from Uncle Nearest to Blue Chair Bay. I got to go to the offices in New York for Moet Hennessy, Remy. We're meeting these people. They're talking about the industry. They're giving us really good feedback and advice. And so being able to listen to what all their challenges were and seeing hey, for you, somebody transitioning to the industry and, being a startup brand, these are the obstacles that you guys are going to face. But these are some of the things that you can do to overcome it. How are you speaking directly to your clientele? How are you getting out there and getting people to taste and acquire your product? How many events are you doing every single month? And so, again, I say that program was just invaluable for us. And what they do, their mission is working with minority brands, right? In terms of whether that's mentorship, funding, you name it, right? And so being able to partner with them has been one of the best resources that we have. And then being able to talk through just strategic ideas on how we can overcome some of these challenges. And that's something that's still going on to this day with them. So
is it like an incubator program?
Yeah.
So specifically for minority-owned liquor brands?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That's exactly what they do. And so they have about 32 brands under their actual portfolio. Those are brands that they bring in, and they support those brands. And then they also do mentorship. And so that's one of the programs, I started with the Spirits Prep program. We'll be going through the mentorship program with them as we continue to help, grow the brand. Again, we keep meeting, and we just were partnered. We were actually booth right next to them when we went to WSWA in Denver, and it was great to be able to reconnect with them. So, being able to have people that you can talk to who's been in the industry for so long, especially people that are just, doing huge things. I mean, these are multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar brands that are willing to sit and take the time to try to invest in you and talk you through how to overcome certain challenges. That's been great for us.
Well, the reality is, selfishly, they want you to succeed because then they've got another brand that they can distribute.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a great program.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember because you called me because we had been at a convention at that same facility.
Yep.
The one in Denver.
Yeah.
So I thought that was incredibly interesting and kind of cool.
For sure.
So,
it was.
that's cool. What's next? What's the next? If you could remove a hurdle, or if you could check something off your box of this is what things that we're working on, like what would be the biggest one? What would be something you're just like, yep, we knocked that off. It's this is a big step forward.
So for me personally, I'm big on foundation, like growing what you have. Johnny, when I get on a call with him at 11 o'clock at night, when he's calling me with his crazy questions, he wants to create another brand, So we're kind of working both angles. We're looking to distribute a little bit more, get some more land distribution. Right now, we have Georgia, Tennessee. We have St. Thomas. Shout out to Jay Black. He's the one that introduced me to St. Thomas. He works at St. Thomas in the Islands Market.
And it's really popular in St. Thomas, right?
It is.
Yes.
We just literally shipped about 40 cases there last week.
Yeah.
Working with them. I love St. Thomas. I know you went there recently too.
Yeah. We were there, and you were
Yeah.
like, you probably got that all over the shelves there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we're working that. So Jay kind of handles that market for us, and we kind of piggyback off of that. But I think one of the biggest things that we kind of agreed on is just putting another product on the shelf, putting another SKU on the shelf.
Is this going to be like a RTD? Is this going to be a
yeah? So we're in talks. I'm trying to look about partnerships and things like that with a company called Withco. It's something we talked about. I kind of threw it in his ear to see what we can do. So shout out to Withco. It's Josh who owns Withco. It's a mixing company, so a mixer pretty much. So he has an espresso martini. He has a bouquet. Hey Girl, an old fashioned. Pretty much you take 2 ounces of his product, 2 ounces of my vodka, mix it together, you have a great product. And I'm a big espresso martini person, so his espresso is top notch. So we're looking to put some kind of RTD on the shelf, that's coming down. So me and Johnny talk about that a lot. But for me, it's just growth. We're trying to bootstrap it out, growth, and just build that customer base one at a time. Just looking to get into more liquor stores, looking to get more distribution around the nation that we can support. Because one thing people don't understand is that you think that you got a distributor. Distributors are like glorified delivery drivers. First of all, they want to have to pick your product up, and you have to be careful with the type of distributor you go with, because some distributors will pick you up and just shelf you if they feel like you're a threat to some of the product that they have. So, those are the challenges that I had. When I first got into it, I'm like, when I got my first distributor, I was like, hey, yes, I'm good. I'm on the shelf. We're good. I didn't hear from them for 3 months after that, and so you understand that you have to sell to the distributor, the right distributor. Then you have to go into the liquor store and try to pitch the liquor store to buy your product. Then the distributor has to deliver the product. Then you got to go back in the store and sell the product, so those things like that. Again, I think the beautiful part about it is that we're learning from every aspect.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that allows you, it's kind of like building something from the ground up, a building, right? The foundation, the walls, the color you want on the walls, everything like that. And we're learning as we go along. So for us, it's just probably bringing another SKU in and still learning, still learning partnerships and learning. Every day I'm Googling something, figure out what will be the right way to go on this angle. We failed in certain places and we've gained in certain places. So, just the continuous learning is for me, it's important.
So we have a rule in our house, and it is: did we fail? I mean, did we win or did we learn?
Yeah.
And so we actually don't use the fail word. Because,
okay.
Because as long as you learned something to take into tomorrow, I mean, it wasn't a failure.
Definitely.
You learned something.
Definitely.
And you had to learn a lot of things along this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody out there right now is listening, and maybe the vodka is their thing, maybe the vodka is not their thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as maybe the top 3 mixers or drinks that are currently being made? I know it's popular here in Nashville. What do you I'm sure this is playing into your RTD strategy. What do you think's in the running for that?
Espresso martinis is probably the fastest growing type of drink that's out there. I'll be honest, if I go to a restaurant and I'll order an espresso martini, if it's not good, I'm not coming back.
Okay.
It's become a thing for me, so I go to a restaurant, I'm paying attention to the bar and stuff like that. An espresso martini, I think, will be probably top. Probably lemon drops. A lot of people love lemon drops. It's pretty good. I tried a dirty martini the other day. That's not my thing. I'm not, I feel like that's a vodka drinker, so, but, as far as like from my research and things like that, espresso martinis, I would say lemon drop. What else would you think?
So espresso martinis are definitely like bringing back vodka to be. So, I mean, vodka has been for the longest the number one selling spirit, right?
Yeah.
Tequila is slowly inching into that space of trying to overtake vodka, but it's the easiest to make drinks with. And so when you look at what's out there, the espresso martini is on the menu everywhere you go, and it's kind of like that resurgence of like what helped bourbon get so popular. Sure. And it was the old fashioned that kind of really was like, everybody's getting old fashioned. I got to try the old fashioned at this place, this bar, whatever the case may be. Espresso martini is it right now. And so that's one of the driving forces in the vodka space right now. And, everybody's like, how do you re-innovate the space? Like, how do you do something different? What type of innovation? And that's kind of where vodka's at right now. I mean, we're kind of one of the top leaders in that's being considered like, hey, you have some level of like innovation that's happening because of what we do, how our process is made. And so the espresso martini is it. Like, that's the drink. That's the driving force. And then anything else that you have out there, like you said, a dirty martini is like extremely popular. I mean, it's been a staple for years. Lemon drop surprisingly kind of went away, and now they're back. And that's what people are drinking.
It's like flannel.
Oh, Jim. And then, like, you have some really good drinks, but at the same time, just to shout out to Clarence, when he went through all of this research and development, he made this product to be sipped, right?
Yeah.
And so you put this over ice. If you're a vodka drinker, you're going to love this, like, just like you're sipping a good bourbon. Because, again, that flavor palette, the nuance, the taste that you're going to get is just really, really good. And so for us, me, when I am every single week visiting accounts, I'm focusing on, retail accounts. Clarence is more focused on getting bars and restaurants, because for us, like you mentioned, like, we need to be on the menu, and we're on the menu at several places around town. It helps us grow, gets the word out. But how do you create a really good drink here in Nashville when everybody wants to be downtown? They want to try something that they haven't had before, right? And so we let the bartenders really kind of go wild. Like, it's like, okay, there's some really good flavor profiles. How can we, mix something together that's really, really good? Clarence, what would you say your favorite place that we currently have the vodka at that you really like that menu product?
I would say Germantown Pub has been with us from day one. Shout out to Germantown Pub. They created a drink called the Melon Kush. And what's interesting to me is, just not about having just a great product, but the idea of selling. Obviously, we've been in sales. We understand, when we did our Saturday sales, and absolute, right. It's the art of, right? So when you have a drink called the Melon Kush on the menu, people pay attention to that. Oh, what is that? Sometimes you sell in some, oh, I wish it had this in there. And then, it doesn't have it, So the Melon, shout out to them. Plain Jane has been with us. They're out of around East Nashville area.
East Nashville.
They've been rocking with us from day one. Trying to think offhand. Some places have changes. Some places that had us and changed hands, so we're trying to rebuild. And a lot of it was there was a period that I would say that we didn't sell anything when we were trying to move from our old distributor to Bounty, which is a distributor ended up getting bought by Ajax. Now we're with Ajax, one of the bigger distributors in the nation. It's just kind of reintroducing the product to the masses. So, shout out to Germantown Pub, Plain Jane, Golden Pony. We done several things there. Tall Tales, we're about to do an event May 3rd over there. So they'll have our product in. Of course, they're making an espresso martini, which, by the way, they have one of the best ones I've tried before, so they're doing their thing over there. I hope I'm not missing anybody. If I am, I'm sorry. It's a couple more. And, we had some bars in Atlanta that has it. Really, St. Thomas, our distributor there actually owns a couple of bars up there. And so he has it there as well. So they make a couple of cocktails with it. And we're actually going in July to kind of...
Oh, it sounds terrible. Yeah. Terrible to have to go visit
I know.
St. Thomas.
I know, especially when it's Carnival, too.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of my dreams. So,
oh wow,
yeah, I'll be there.
Strategic planning on when that business
Very
trip
strategic
is.
planning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
had to write that in the budget.
Yeah. So like when we go to and the beautiful thing about what we're doing is when we go to restaurants, it's not just about just get the product on the shelf. Yeah, it looks good on the shelf and everything like that. But if nobody's really asking for it, they're going to go with what they know. And through my research, most people go with either what's on the menu or what they know, right? Yeah. And likelihood, if you have it on the menu, they're going to try it. So when we go to what they call on-premise store locations, our idea is not just to bring the vodka in, but let's talk about how we create a cocktail with it. Let's talk with your top bartender. Let's create something. I'm big about creation, so just not the standard liquor drinks that we have out there, but let's create. Let's, when you get the right bartender, they love to create. That's what I want to do. So we want people that are willing to create and be creative in doing that. So
yeah. So let's just say somebody's watching this in Atlanta. Where can they find you, either in a bar or in distribution points?
So the quickest way really to get it online. So you can go online, FiyoriVodka.com. We're actually rebuilding our website. So in about a week or so, we'll have a new, more updated website. But you can go online and order it. I think we ship to 44 states. I think there's only 4 states that we do not ship to. You can actually buy in Tennessee. Tennessee has a law that you can't buy here. I think Utah, South Carolina, I think. They just sent me. It's 4 states. Outside of that, you can always buy it online if you want it straight to your house.
Sure.
We have it at Prohibition Liquor, which is in Atlanta. A couple of places.
Yeah, so we've probably, over the last several years, had about 50 accounts in Atlanta.
Okay.
Clarence did so much, just feet to the ground, hitting Atlanta tough, right? I mean, it's a huge market. We're currently going through new distribution in Atlanta, so that means we're going to rebrand all of our locations.
Got it.
That we're currently working with, right? And so that's going to be huge for us. It's all right, we're growing here at a crazy pace right now in Nashville. But now going back to hey, how do we keep our focus to where when we're expanding in one market and then now we're bringing it to another market that has a true demand. I mean, we're getting calls every single day hey, Atlanta. All right, right now let's go online, right? And you can get the product. We're working through we just need a bigger distributor in Atlanta, right, to be able to handle the footprint that we're looking at. And so, as we go through back to challenges that we currently have, that's just one of the challenges, and launching in multiple markets at the same time. I mean, we just got a call for a brand new market in Texas right now. So it's all right, hey, how do we be able to ship, whether that's half a pallet to Texas and be able to make sure that we support that market in full while also finding, new distribution in Atlanta, and then continue to focus here, and then also focusing on the Virgin Islands and continue that pace. So.
Yeah, because you really don't know where it's going to hit, right? I mean, exactly. all it does is take one high profile bartender or one high profile liquor store, or maybe even just an employee in one of those places to really get it cranked up. So you can't really afford to do something halfway.
No.
And I, to point to what you're saying, I mean, really, that goes back to Clarence and how he works relationships, right? So we have a huge partnership with Total Wines. I mean, we easily sell 15 to 20 cases a month out of Total Wines, and that's big.
Yeah.
And so But that goes back to the relationship that Clarence was able to set up. It wasn't easy getting in Total Wines, and they mess with us tough. Like, I mean, we have a really good event coming up really, really soon, and we're partnered with them. We're sitting right next to them to be able to highlight and showcase that, hey, you can get our product in Total Wine amongst other locations. But being able to have that level of support and people that truly trust and say, hey, I mean, this is one of the best brands around. And we have that at so many stores that truly support us. Again, they understand we're small. They support us because we're local. But I mean, they're willing to give us end caps, posters on the wall. Like, the ownership is like, this is the best vodka. I don't drink vodka, but this is the one that I drink. You guys should buy this. Like, that level of support that we get is, how this thing is running, like how it's funded, how it's, making the impact around for us to be able to continue to just, make the waves that we're making. So
that's awesome. Obviously this has been just a walk in the park since you started this. It's been so easy. But I think part of it, Clarence, for you specifically, is I think it highlights just the fact that you are not a stranger to putting in the work to actually just go out, shake hands, kiss babies, like talk about it and try to figure out where the common ground is and what's in it for them. How can you help them?
I'll say this. I learned a lot from my mother in that I think I started entrepreneurship very young without even knowing it. I was selling fake Jabot jeans and iceberg my uncle sent me from New York in high school, So right. Even if you look at my high school, I had a Sean John outfit that was probably fake, but hey, I was selling it, so it is what it is. But I've seen how, my family, especially my mother, has built relationships with people, and how far relationships could take you if you're genuine with it, right? So it's not I'm building a relationship because I need something from you. I just genuinely build good relationships, I like people. I like dealing with people. I like to learn from people. And I think that has translated in when I'm selling a product or when I have a product out there that people are willing to support or willing to give me advice on it because it's genuine, right? I'm big on just learning from people. I want people to win. I'm big on just like, if I learn something, like when we learn awards, like, hey, you got to apply for these awards, so I'm telling all the brands that I know, hey, let's go apply for these awards. Let's do this because we know this is how we win, right? We know what are the bigger brands doing and how can we implement that same thing for us and not be scared to do it. So I like to share information. I don't have that crab in a barrel mentality, and I think it serves me well. But I just genuinely like dealing with people. I think if you look at my friend circle, it can be in everywhere, any and every. I have friends that are super rich, you know what I'm saying? Because we sit down and have a dinner and not look at it, okay, you got more money than me. It doesn't matter to me. So I just love dealing with people, and that's just I guess that's my superpower. I just love it. And again, like I said, I learned that a lot from my mother and just the type of relationships that she has. That, somebody that came from Ghana that you would never think would be friends with this person, friends with that person. And I think it's just served me well. And, I just want to keep the tradition going. And that's what I tell my kids and my daughter, just build great relationships with people, because when people like you, they give you information. And then, and that's important to me. So.
Well, I think one of the first things I remember you talking about is how tough your mom was. Oh, yeah. And I forget how exactly you phrased it, but you basically said she was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You were like, if she says she's going to be back, she's going to be back.
Oh, yeah.
And you better watch out.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that. And I think she's probably the glue that kind of held your family together as you guys were moving here and that kind of stuff. I mean, it couldn't have been easy.
Definitely. She, it's so I guess it's the first time I'm actually telling this story. Like, my dad left Ghana when I was 4. I think about 4. Came to America to kind of start it off, and then my mom left about a year and a half later. So, and I know it was tough for her to leave me. Left with my grandparents and my step grandmother and my granddad, and it was very tough. Very tough, because I was very close to my family, my mom and my dad. I was super close to them. I look at some of the pictures. I used to dress like my mother. I had some of the best outfits out there. I had a whole Pepsi outfit on that I was looking fresh to death, and then all that disappears out of the blue, right? So I went through a period of like, and I'll say this. I think that period of being left in Ghana by myself shaped how I treat people, because I wasn't treated well, by, there's this idea that if your parents or family members are in America, they're just rich. Like, we're walking around. I remember a story of somebody said you go buy clothes in TJ Maxx and there's money in it. And I'm like, so that's the, at least back then, that was the thought process of if you come to America. So, you get left with family members that don't treat you well because, your parents are in America and we're here taking care of you. And, even though they were sending stuff, like my mom would send clothes and they'll give it to their kids, So I went through a very tough period and I vowed not to treat people that same way. Yeah. And then I came here and I have a little brother. Right. So now I'm thinking I'm going to get all the attention again. And no, this little big head boy, shout out to Orleans, is getting all the attention. So I think that part of life kind of shaped me that, some people go through things and they use as a crutch to everything that they do. I try to take those things and say, I'm not going to repeat that. Yeah. So even as parenting, we all make mistakes as parents. I'll be first to admit I've made some mistakes as a parent, but in large, it's like, okay, this is what I went through. I'm trying to avoid that with this part, and so that shaped me a lot as far as like those between the ages of 5 and 10. I came here when I was 10 years old, very aware, and then also having to go through the American school system from a whole different country. You know what I'm saying? That was scary. That was scary. But again, it's one of those things, you go through something, you realize that it probably wasn't good for you, so try not to duplicate that for anybody else around you, and stuff like that.
Well, I think it highlights just how important your family thought it was in order to come to the United States. Yes. And I don't know if y'all have seen this one or not, but El Lagutin, which we all used to work with, El's story is very similar in that his dad was a doctor in the Philippines and decided to move here, really to get here before he was born. They were already pregnant, and had to leave his older sister with family before they could afford to bring her over. And so, it blows my mind to be able to leave a child, but at the same time, it just shows how powerful their conviction was, because I can't imagine that would be easy for anybody in order to go provide a different opportunity for the entire family.
Definitely.
And I think it just, again, I know it's hard and you went through a lot of hardship, but I guess it still speaks to just your family dynamic, because, you're doing okay. You have a, brother who is somewhat famous, and if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Right. And so, you were able to overcome some challenges, and now you're here. So,
definitely. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I went through those challenges. And those challenges still shape me as the man that I am today, and I'm still learning. Like I said, I love to learn. Sometimes I take time out and be like, hey, did I make the mistake? Did I treat this person the right way? Did I do this the right way? And I always go back to how I was and how I grew up and stuff like that, to say, you never know what somebody's going through, so you always want to be kind to people. So, and it goes back into the relationships that I build. You know what I'm saying? So there's people in my phone I can just pick up and let it all out to, and they'll listen to me, pray with me, and things like that. So I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What's next for Fiyori? I know you're working on RTD. Yeah. Is that the next step, or?
Johnny wants it to be the next step. I want it to be as well. He convinced me last week that that's what we're working on. I think one of the biggest things we're trying to do is secure some funding in this. We're at a space where I think that's important, to create some more funding so that we can grow as a brand. As far as like the foundation is already laid, we have a nice bottle. We have a great product that we can stand behind. The feedback has been great. So I think what the next step is, how do we get funding so we can grow and multiply what we're doing right now? They just opened up the Chattanooga market for us, so we're going to actually start selling in Chattanooga. Am I saying it right, Chattanooga?
Yep.
Chattanooga?
Yes, you are.
Chat Town. Yeah.
Yeah.
So If you're in Chattown, look out. We'll be there real soon, a few months or so. Probably less than that.
Yeah, when you think about our roadmap that, took a while to create, I sat down with Clarence and was like, listen, this is where we need to be over the next 12 to 18 months. We need to have more SKUs on the shelf, right? Whether that's larger or smaller size bottles of the product. It's what our customers are asking for.
Sure.
Like when you start having, repeat business, we want to make sure that we're bringing the product to them in the way that they value and want the product. Definitely looking at more of an RTD, whatever that looks like, right? Again, we have at least 3 different products in development right now that we're talking through. A couple partnerships that we are working on that will drastically change the landscape of what we're doing. We met some really good people out in Denver when we went to WSWA. And so when you think about where we are now and how we can transition this over the next 18 months, again, I know funding for sure, right? If we just had, unlimited funds, we could easily blow up the market, right? But as we continue to bring what we currently have and scale that to being a household name here in just Nashville, right? Because it's such a robust market. So many people come here, right? That's our number one roadmap is how do we, change the landscape and say, hey, when you go get vodka and you walk into the store, you're grabbing for Fiyori and not the other guys, right?
That's right.
And then more and more and more distribution, right? We have a roadmap of exactly where we want to go next. The next 5 states that we want to go to, we can support those markets. We have plans for those. And then again, keep bringing more to the shelves. So how do we do that? We keep doing that. And it's just, feet to the ground, keep bootstrapping it, and we'll definitely get there. But the roadmap is happening.
Yeah. Well, I know for both of you, and myself included, family is just a massive driver for what we do, how we do it. The presence that we want to make sure that we are presenting. What's a common thread, or what do you think is one of the most important things that you share with your children? Like, actually, Haley's the oldest. Shout out to her. She's already prepped for college.
Yes.
About to graduate Innsworth.
Yep.
And, she's a strong, just fantastic young woman. What are some of the things that you've instilled in her that have helped shape her life?
I think biggest thing, again, going back to my childhood and saying the things that I went through, just be good to people. Just be good to people. I think that's the basis of everything. When we start there, everything kind of flows from there. So build good relationships, pray with people. She's very spiritual right now. She's going through that phase of her life. Challenges come up. As a parent, your kids go through these challenges that you didn't kind of go through, and you kind of I'm trying to get old school with it, but it's a new generation right now. So I'm learning just as much as she's learning. But the basis of it is just be good to people. Do the right thing. Be good to people. Do not steal from people. Do not take from people. Do not try to hurt people. And you do good will come back to you. And so that's the basis on it. And stay in school. That's important. But shout out to Haley. She's going to North Carolina A&T playing softball. Her mom has been big on softball with her. So shout out to them both for making that happen. I'll give that credit to her. She's gone through 4 years at Innsworth, which is not easy. It's definitely not easy. But I would tell you, just the power of relationships is why she's even in that school, because that school is not cheap, right. But just the power of the relation, the foundation my brother built, and then, my mom building those relationships there. So when it was time for her to go there, it was easy. It was an easy call, so it was quick to make that happen. But yeah, that's really much. Just be good to people. And
then a little bit of an age difference. You got a little man too.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old son. That was a family thing that we wanted to do. His name is Roman. Roman, he's lives in Huntsville right now, so he'll be here with me this weekend. That's the next generation of the Darkwa family. My brother ended up having a nephew that's 3 months younger than mine, so we kind of did it all together.
Oh, that's awesome!
Shout out to Kofi. So he has our namesake. Both me and my brothers are Kofi, and so my nephew's also named Kofi as well. And So it's cool to have two new boys in the family that are running around and
growing up together, things like that. And so having that, it's a gap. It was a big gap, but I'm very happy because I think that I have children. I have my daughter is going to be able to have somebody to look over. When my time is up, God forbid, but when my time is up, I feel like I've built a foundation for the next generation of my last name. Yeah, and then Johnny, you got 1, 3, and 5. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, luckily, I was able to have my dad in my life, who is my number one and first mentor. Mm-hmm. Shout out to you, Jim. You've also been a mentor for me for over 15 years now, and I truly value both of you for being able to just help and grow me as the man that I am. And so having my dad, and he is one of 11, being able to see all of those uncles that I had show like me how to be a man and raise the kids, right? I truly hope that I can be that father figure for my 3 boys that I currently have. And it's not easy. It's a challenge every single day, just making sure you instill the values that you truly believe in. Like, how do you want to leave a legacy, and how do you want to be perceived, and how do you, bring in a level of discipline to your family? Like, I mean, as you know, like the Robinson family, I mean, they have a huge name and a huge legacy. Like, we have over 40 family members who all attended Tennessee State University. Yeah. One of my uncles was a tennis coach. Another one was a football coach. And looking at those men and what they've been able to do and accomplish, including my father. I mean, he was in, banking and finance for 35 years. So like all of these things have been distilled into me. And I try my best every single day to, be that provider and take what I've learned from them to be the best husband that I can be, the best father that I can be to these 3 boys. And again, it's a challenge every single day. But, I love them to death, and we try to make it work the best we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and a big shout out to Stephanie, because she's just an absolute gem. She's fantastic. And I don't know your uncle's name, but a little bit of a shout out to him, because if it hadn't been for him, y'all wouldn't have met, right? That
is true. Nice tee up there, Jim. So, yes. So, my uncle, he was the tennis coach, and that's how, I worked for him at TSU, doing a little bit of work study at that time. And she transitioned over from track and field, came to play tennis. Cool little story about her. She never played tennis before, learned how to play tennis on the collegiate level, and won one of the first games that they had on the collegiate level. Like, she out here beating people. Like, how do you just shout out to her as an athlete? So, yes, we met in college on the tennis court. I still to this day swear that I can beat her. I try my best. I keep up. Let's just say that.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah.
So now we're going to transition to a little bit of a fun space in the podcast. So if you guys were throwing a launch party, okay, and you had to pick 5 people, and these 5 people, they could be people they could be people you don't know, celebrities, anybody that has ever lived throughout history. And the whole point was to put Fiyori Vodka on the map so that everybody knew this. I don't care where you're at. You couldn't be in the middle of the sand in the Middle East and not know about Fiyori because of this launch party.
Wow. I got one.
I got 3.
Then I'll let you do the rest. Okay. So the first person that comes to mind is Fawn Weaver, which, I mean, she is a household name now. She started Uncle Nearest. It seemed like it, exploded overnight. I remember through the Pronghorn partnership, being able to be with the number 2 over at Uncle Nearest. She was just like giving gems, and how they were able to create the brand, the entire story, and like just I follow everything that she does. Like, how do you take something like Uncle Nearest and be worth, the $1 billion valuation that they have, and continuously build that brand out. And again, it's like overnight in this industry. That's just not easy to do, especially when it's so, guarded from some of the people at the top and how they're being able to put so much money out there. It's like, how do you continuously do that? And the fact that she was able to, like, hey, tell me from scratch, be at the launch party, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Clarence, what about you?
Well, yeah, shout out to Fawn Weaver. Yeah. She's definitely somebody we look up to, and Miss Butler, who's the master distiller there as well. Yeah. I'm a music guy, so Bob Marley. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Bob Marley. I feel like Bob Marley will share the message of Fiyori Vodka so cool that everybody will get with it. So his music is still reigning to this day. Every person from Ghana knows Michael Jackson. I always tell Josh, there's a kid running around right now that does not know English but can sing every single lyric of Michael Jackson.
I believe that.
Yeah, so I think he's a pop icon that is forever a staple. So I would love for that to happen. I'm a big Snoop Dogg fan. Mm-hmm. I know he has his own product right now. Snoop, if you're listening, hope you're listening.
That's right.
Might be there.
I mean, it's got hemp seeds in it.
It's got hemp seeds in it. Hey, close to it.
We actually have a meeting with them.
Yeah, soon. We got some things lined up in there, possibly coming soon.
Well, I hear Fiyori Vodka's smoking.
Yeah, so those people, and for me personally, I this might not make a dent in it, but I would love to see my grandmother, who I never met. I never had a chance to meet her. My mom speaks so highly of her, and my grandfather from my dad's side, who I spent time with when I was in Ghana, just to see, he's very, very, very smart man, very smart man. Ran all the railroads in Ghana, pretty much Oxford educated, and just to see how proud he is of me. I think that would have been. I would love for him to be in that room as well. So it's a lot of people that could be in that room, but I would say those three for me. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right, now so let's just say those are the people that are going to be there, that are going to be the spotlight. But you got to have somebody MC this thing.
Ooh, who's hosting?
I don't know.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin might talk about his tequila. I don't know.
I thought you might want somebody a little taller than you.
You got a tall bottle, so
you got a tall bottle. We need a tall person. Ooh, that's a tough one. Maybe you, Jim. You good with words now. You are definitely good with words. You're definitely good with words. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one right there. There are a few celebrities that I think would align with the product that I think would be good, like John Sally. I've always been a big fan of John Sally, and he's into that health aspect of things. Megatron from John. I just know him as Megatron Johnson.
Yes,
Hall of Famer. Yeah, somebody like that would definitely be a good MC. Man, you stumped me with that one. I don't know. I'm trying to.
We have to have tryouts.
Yeah, we probably have to.
We have celebrities send their 3-minute intro video to see who gets picked.
Definitely,
absolutely.
And
I like that. Yeah,
nice.
We might do it in St. Thomas. You get good weather in the beach, So
that's right. I mean, who can say no to that?
Definitely.
We can get Michael Jackson to come out for that one. All right, somebody out there right now is they're struggling with whether or not they start their company. They're trying to figure it out. They're shaking in their boots. What's a bit of advice you give them?
They always say just do it. I truly believe in just doing it. You're going to go through challenges, right? In life, when you wake up every day, it's a challenge, right? There's some people that do not have the opportunity to wake up, right? And, they're going to go through those challenges. I think what entrepreneurship is a reflection of life itself, right? Wake up every day, you hop in the car, you have to drive to work if you have to go to work, right? If you're working remote, you walk down the hallway, you still have to go do it, right? So I've kind of adopted the mentality of Nike, just do it, right? You're doing it understanding that it's not going to be sweet starting off, right? I think one of the things that has been very beneficial for me is I love challenges. I love the fact there's brands that have been out there, started, and then they failed. I've gone through almost everything you can think of, like just understanding the laws of liquor and, things that you think you can do and you can't do, and the challenges that come with it. And I think there's a beauty in overcoming those challenges. I love that. It's as much as I love the product and I know I have a good product, it's not the product that drives me. It's the challenge of being able to walk into a store and say, I'm right there amongst those that are, that are sitting on the shelf. It's the beauty of the process. It's opening up a new market, having that person that's standing in front of me, loving it so much and doing, that's what it drives me. So I would say if you're going to do something, find the part that drives you and just go for it.
Yeah.
That's as much effort as you get up in the morning, take a shower. Hopefully you take a shower in the morning and do what you have to do. Use that same thing to drive you, and just understand that those challenges, those road bumps are going to happen, but I'm willing to go over them. And the feeling that you get afterwards is what you're chasing. And I love it. I love it. I mean, just going back at like 2020 when I lost the scooter business with the tornado and the party bus shut down, and I brought the scooter business back, and then it got stolen again, and I brought it again, and it got stolen again. I haven't quit. We actually about to launch it next week at Marathon Music Works. We're going to have our scooter business there. So if you're ever in Nashville and want to ride some mopeds and stuff like that, Dash Scooters is out there. But I love that challenge because you're going to have those road bumps, and, the devil is going to stop you. There's going to be things that are going to stop you. I just love going over that hump and just going to the other side and just looking back and said, I did that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that part of it. So
well, great stories are not created by easy paths.
Definitely.
Plain and simple.
Definitely.
You also don't get to figure out who you are with an easy path.
Yeah.
And on that same note, so big shout out to Barry Walker over at Marathon Motorworks. In fact, I know you got a meeting with him right after this. Yeah, I'm going to go
see Barry after this.
Barry's one of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to tell a little story about Barry. So Barry is, for anybody that doesn't know, Barry owns Marathon Motorworks. He has been trying to buy every vehicle that was ever produced by Marathon to put back in the showroom. It is a beautiful place over there. And, one of the vehicles that he acquired just maybe 2 years ago, he'd been trying to buy that vehicle out of Argentina for 28 years. Oh, wow. He's got another one that he's trying to buy out of, I think it's out of Queensland, Australia, and they've been negotiating for 30-something years. He's trying to put all the vehicles that are still like possible to put back in the building, and the dude he doesn't hear the word no. He's got a property over not too far from where I live, and is great friends with my uncle, and they've worked on a lot of projects together. But he has a track loader of all things for us to talk about in this conversation. So Barry has a track loader, and for anybody that doesn't know, Barry is in a wheelchair.
Yep.
And this track loader he had modified. They welded a steel beam. They took the windshield out, welded a steel beam in, and then pick himself up, and then slide back into the cab so that he can run his own track loader.
Yep.
So, it's the Charge Forward podcast for a reason. Yep. All right. Your family charged forward into coming to the United States. Difficult decisions, difficult situations to put a child into. You come here, and throughout all that, you use that experience and the lessons you learned and the things you want to do and don't want to do, to not only grow yourself, but at the same time how to get out there and start growing this brand and your other businesses. The relationships you built along the way, for somebody like Johnny. I mean, I remember the first time I met Johnny. Big shout out to Paul Bechtel, or Lauren Bechtel, as everybody at Walmart knows him. So Paul calls me one day and he's like, "Hey, I'm sending a guy your way. You're going to want to hire him today." So Johnny stops by. Johnny doesn't even know what he's like. He's like, "I don't know. Paul told me to come here." And we sat down for 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And we worked together for a decade.
Yep.
And I just can't speak enough good words about both of you. You're just absolutely rock stars when it comes to being strong men you say what what you mean. You don't pull punches. You're just a man's man. And so I'm proud to know both of you. I'm excited that you got some good stuff going on. I'm excited to see where Fiyori goes. I have no doubt that it's going to be a household name, and that you're going to just crush it, especially with this RTD product.
Yeah.
Which I know there's a lot of growth in that space right now. So I'd love to see you guys jump into there. One last question. This is for each one of you. Have you put any thought into how you want to be remembered?
Yes, I actually have.
Okay.
Yep. Goes back to just that he was good to me.
He was good to me.
That's I think, when those words, as simple as they are, has so much that goes into it, right? He was just good to me. He was a good person. We always talk about that in funerals and stuff like that. Oh, he was such a good person, and somebody sitting back there, no. I wanted to be where he was good to me, and I'll tell you where I got that from. Rest in peace, Lenny. Lenny, the short time that I knew him, and when we went to his funeral, it just, that's the feeling that I got. He was just good to people. I never saw him argue with anybody. I can't say that about me. I probably argue sometimes, but he just left a positive imprint in everybody that was in that room, and that kind of stuck with me. So yeah, I definitely want to be remembered as he was just good to me. I could be remembered for Fiyori. I could be remembered for other things. That's fine. But if a person is standing there and asks, and they can speak the truth, they say that he was good to me. That matters. Yeah,
absolutely. John?
Yeah, that just, hey, did you leave a legacy that, one, your family is proud of? I've always wanted to make sure that, my father, truly, he appreciates and is just happy for all the things that I've been able to accomplish. And then one of my superpowers is being resilient through the storm, that level of calm, right? I've heard that from you for many of years, and everybody that I speak with. It's like, this guy, he can get it done. He's the one that you bring in. You would call me the fixer, right? And that's what hey, remember me for being able to come in, solve problems, leave that legacy of, hey, he was able to accomplish what he said he was going to be able to do.
Yeah. I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in, spending some time with me. And just as a tribute out there to Lanny Buchanan, who left us far too early. I had the pleasure of working with Lanny for almost a dozen years. And Lanny really was one of those guys that didn't lose his cool. In fact, if you pushed Lanny to the point where you did, you're probably a very, very select few that got to see that side. But just a rock star dude that was just steady Freddy. Much to Clarence's point, he absolutely was good to people. And again, just if you knew Lanny Buchanan, you know exactly what we're talking about. But guys, thank you so much. I can't wait to see what Fiyori does next. Can't wait to try the RTD product. Just all the things. And I think you'll both know if I can help you in any way, I'm absolutely glad to.
Thank you for having us here, Jim. This has been a pleasure. We appreciate you and everything that you do. In Nashville, we're coming.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
I love it. Well, team, you heard it here on the Charge Forward podcast. Special thanks to Fiyori Vodka, to Clarence Darkwa, and to Johnnie Robinson for spending some time with us and sharing a little bit about their hemp-infused vodka that is just absolutely growing in popularity. And you need to get out and try one of these in one of those locations that they've got one of those specialty drinks here in Nashville or Atlanta. Or if you're vacationing St. Thomas, maybe even if you're there in July, you might get to meet these guys. As always, special thanks to the team here at Hit Lab Studios Nashville and our sponsors, Sense Custom Development, Sense Leads, and Charge Forward Solutions. Until next time, I'm Jim Cripps. Take care. Team, is Jim Cripps here with the Charge Forward podcast. I just want to tell you, I love you. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you for subscribing and sharing the Charge Forward podcast with people you know and you love, because that's what we're here for. We are here to share the amazing stories, the things that people have been through, the ways that they were able to improve their life so that you can take little nuggets from theirs and help improve your story and be better tomorrow than you were today. I hope that this is the tool you needed at the right time and that you find value in the amazing guests that we bring each and every week. Thanks so much, and don't forget, new episodes drop every Thursday.